Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Bankin Fieldhouse on the campus of Westminster College for today's volleyball match between the Truman State Bulldogs and your Westminster Griffins. At this time, we ask that you please rise for the presentation of our national anthem.
Westminster Athletics welcomes all players, officials, and spectators to Bankin Fieldhouse for tonight's contest. The Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference is committed to sportsmanship. We take pride in the conduct of our student athletes and coaches and ask that everyone, coaches, athletes, and spectators, treat opponents and officials with respect. We encourage you to cheer for your favorite team during tonight's competition. At the same time, please demonstrate the respect you would like to be shown as visitors on their campus. Unruly, threatening, or obscene behavior will not be condoned at tonight's game. Thank you for your cooperation and support. Please enjoy tonight's contest.
And now let's meet the starting lineups, first of all, for the visiting Truman State University Bulldogs. A 6'2" sophomore from Cedar Grove, Wisconsin, number 1, LA Cat. A 5'7" senior from Lee's Summit, Missouri, number 3, Savvy Hughes. A 5'7" junior from Raleigh, North Carolina, number 8, Megan Casper. 5'7" and a junior from Chesterfield, Missouri, number 9, Lauren Wacker. A 6-foot sophomore from Howards Grove, Wisconsin, number 12, Sam Yancey. A 5'9" senior from North Liberty, Iowa, number 18, Natalie Breinmeier. And a 6-foot senior from St. Louis, number 26, Holly Hildebrand. The Bulldogs are coached by Ben Briney, Aaron Higgins, Jennifer Macbeth, and Levi Poldice. Starting for the Griffins, she is a 5'3" junior from Cottonwood Heights, Utah, number 2, Hannah Stearman.
Welcome to Salt Lake City, Utah, home of your Westminster Griffins. Testing, 1, 2, 3, testing, 1, 2, 3, testing. Testing, 1, 2, 3, testing, 1, 2, 3, testing.
Serving for Westminster, number 5, Aggie O.S. Olsen. Griffin fans, are you ready?
Truman State.
She is now serving.
For the Bulldogs. Serving number 3, Savvy Hughes. Bulldog point.
Check. Check.
Serving for Truman State, number 10, Claire Wondery.
Testing. 1, 2, 3, testing.
Griffin point. Serving for Westminster, number 10, Amber Lamborn. Audrey Green for the Griffins, now serving for Westminster, Hannah Stearman. Westminster point. Taylor Harvey. Serving for Westminster, number 5, Aggie Olson. Green. At the service line, Green for Westminster.
Testing. 1, 2, 3, testing.
Timeout.
Pepsi, the official beverage provider of Westminster College Athletics. Pepsi, change the game.
Testing. 1, 2, 3, testing. Test. 1, 2, 3, testing. Test. 1, 2, 3, testing. 1, 2, 3, testing.
Point for the Griffins. Point for the Griffins.
Griffin server is Hannah Stillman. Westminster Griffins. Serving for Westminster number 5, Aggie Lois Olson. Serving the set point for the Bulldogs, number 9, Riley Cronin. Set 1 to the Truman State University Bulldogs.
Fans, your attention please. Today's match is Westminster College's first official athletic event in the history of the college. As a full member of NCAA Division II, the college recently completed a 3-year transition process and now will be eligible for postseason competition in all sports.
Griffins fall in set 1 here in Salt Lake City, Utah. Once again, thank you guys for stopping by. Second day of Westminster Invitational. Lubbock Christian knocked out Fort Lewis in 3 sets to start things off today, as Truman State has had a good tournament so far, as they're 2-0, knocking off Fort Lewis and MSU Manica. As the Griffins are in the whites, and wearing blue is the Bulldogs from Truman State. Hard shot's going to go to Stearman. Stearman gets it back over to Green. Green sends it from the Lamborn to the other side. Set up high perfectly by Savy Hughes, and she'll get the assist on the play. As it's the first official day of NCAA Division II for the Westminster Griffins, as it's been a long 3 years, and this is the first ever D2 match in school's history, so that's very exciting. Gave away some t-shirts tonight to the fans in attendance, as Lamborn gets a kill right there. And they gave away some free pizza as well from Westminster ASW, who sponsored today's WVB Women's Volleyball Tailgate for this afternoon's game, as this will be the first of two for Westminster, as we'll be back to close things off in the Invitational later tonight, as MSU Mankato will take on Westminster. As Truman State, again, they're coming in with firepower, sweeping a couple games yesterday. They did lose to Fort Lewis one game in yesterday's contest, and Fort Lewis and the Griffins went 5. So the Griffins are down 1-0 here early in the sets, as we're even 2-2 in set 2.
Serving for Westminster, number 16, Sydney Simmons.
Sydney Simmons will serve it off for Westminster. Simmons with a great serve. Dug down deep by the Bulldogs. Sent over to the other side from Natalie Brynmeyer. Brynmeyer sees Green come up and spike it off the hands of her teammate of Livingston for a kill for Audrey Green. Audrey Green had a fantastic 2 games yesterday. Double-digit kills in both of them. As in that final game last night against Lubbock Christian, the Griffins had a tough time, as you see Morgan Smith come in with a perfect spike on the Griffin side for a kill to even it up at 3-3. Got the mask is Ellie Runault, who's wearing a face protector, kind of like we've seen a lot of NBA players wear those. As obviously broken nose can cause you to wear those masks, or as Joel Embiid had to wear last year for the 76ers, a mask just to protect his face for a broken part in his face, which is very unique. So a lot of athletes have to wear those. As we're tied again at 4-4, we're going back and forth here on the RMAC network. That one went off the hands of Hannah Stearman. Sent over to the other side, serving away is Claire Wandre. And that's going to be an illegal ball handling against Westminster for a point for the Bulldogs and a 5-4 score. Audrey Green will serve it away for Westminster, and we're going back and forth, 5-5 the score here in Salt Lake City, Utah. We thank you guys for tuning in, no matter where you may be listening to us from. We hope you've enjoyed the 2-day tournament thus far, as Audrey Green thought she was going to be serving again, as the official said, nope, it's an illegal ball handling once again for Westminster. That's Miller, who's had a fantastic tournament so far for the Griffins. Stearman gets it back. Set up high, tapped over the net. That's Colliver. Great save by the Bulldogs. It'll be sent over from Wacker. Lauren Wacker was one to send that back to the Griffin side. Miller goes up, spikes it. This one's going to be off the hands of the Bulldogs. But again, Wacker comes away and hits it back over to the other side. Miller, little tap over. Diving play by Trumont to keep it alive. Great play by Gasper for the Bulldogs. Green spikes it back to the back end. Great save in the back end by Lauren Wacker. She taps it back over to the other side for West Mini. Miller goes high to the sky once again, and it's nearly kept alive by Sam Yacy. Instead, Miller will get the kill for Westminster. And we're all even once again. Just we're trading points back and forth, as the Griffins fell 25-16 in set 1. As head coach For the Bulldogs is Ben Brinney. Assistant coaches Aaron Higgins, Jennifer Macbeth, and Levi Polarize. As for the Griffins again, Al Givens. Head coach, great man, great person. He gets the best from his players each and every time. As we'll see, Sam Yacey, the outside hitter, the sophomore, serves this one to the Griffins side. Over to Green. Little tap over from Culliver for the Griffins. Set up high perfectly by Hughes. Hughes sets up her teammate and Smith, who gets it back to the Griffins side. Miller spikes it off the top of the net, and did it go out of play? Yes, it did. Point Bulldogs. It almost looked like up front there, maybe Morgan Smith might have got a piece of it, but instead it sails just over her and out of bounds for the 8th point for the Bulldogs. Bumped, set over to Miller. Sends to the back end, and just a miscommunication there. Megan Gasper tried to set up her teammate behind her, who was Morgan Smith, and it just tapped off the hands of Smith and ended up hitting her forehead, and she couldn't control it afterwards. Bumped, set up front from Hughes. Hard shot goes back to the back end, and it's going to be out of play. That was Holly Hinderbrand who hit that one with some speed, and it flew out of bounds for the Griffins' 8th point. And here we are again, even up once more. And that was going to sail out of play, and the score is 9-8. Green sends it over to Wakefield. Wakefield taps it over to the other side. Diving play from Westminster. What a play by Jay Cox. Hughes sets up her teammate, and just inside the line, a huge kill for the Bulldogs. And that was number 18, Brian Meyer, who got that one just in time. Wakefield taps it back to the other end. Dug out cleanly by Wacker. Sends it back over where Stearman was on the ground, and Miller spikes it over to the other end. And Wacker once again sets it up high to Hughes. Hughes sets up her teammate to the other side and can't get it over the net. Was Morgan Smith. Point Westminster. And we're 10-9, and we do apologize. I believe the score is a little bit off here in the Bacon Fieldhouse on the broadcast. We'll try to get that fixed for you right now. A little tap over the net, back to Simmons, who gets the kill. And again, this game has just been back and forth, back and forth. Hard shot once again. That one's going to land off Stearman, and that'll be a kill for Morgan Smith, the freshman from St. Louis, Missouri. Savvy Hughes with the serve. That one's going to be a service error outside of the box and out of bounds. And just Westminster just hanging around right now.
The server for the Griffins is Sydney Simmons.
Sydney Simmons, the junior from Tooele, Utah. Hard spike's going to go off the hands of Simmons for another kill. And you could just see Tremont State how talented they are. It's a good young group coming into Salt Lake. Bumped, set, Wakefield and Cox kind of get into a little collision for a second. as it nearly cost the Griffins a point. And that one's going to land off the foot of Lamborn and sell to play over to Al Givens, who was very upset after that last play. Sent over to the other side from Renault and out of play for a point for Westminster.
Serving for the Griffins, number 5, Aggie Olsen.
Olsen will throw this one away. They call her Aggie, as that's her first name. That's what the teammates around her just like the name. Obviously, Aggie, a popular team school name here in the state of Utah, down in Logan. As they had a big matchup this weekend. Set back over to Lamborn. Harvey to Green. Green gets blocked. Once more, Green will try it again. Again, blocked up at the net. One more time. Yacy blocks that one cleanly. As there was only 2 3-0 finishes yesterday in the tournament. Tremont State had one of them. Lubbock Christian had the other. So, obviously Tremont State only lost one set yesterday to Fort Lewis. And they're looking to end the tournament with probably not losing another one. But the Griffins are making them battle it out right now here in set 2.
Serving for Westminster, number 12, Audrey Green.
So Audrey Green once again serves it for Westminster to the back end. Yancey sends it over and she'll get the kill. The Bulldogs are executing everything on the offensive attack right now. Of course, one of the producers yesterday for us, Adrian, out there being one of the ball boys today for the Griffins volleyball team. Hard shot goes down, killed easily by Taylor Harvey. As again, the Griffins just aren't, there's not going away yet. Tremont State hasn't found a way to really start taking this game from Westminster. Westminster's still in this one against a good Tremont State team, who, again, when they played the Mavericks yesterday in the first game, the Mavericks were undefeated. So perfect no more was the Mavericks after they took on Tremont State. Yancey, the outside hitter, leads 16-14 for the Bulldogs. Sends this one over to Miller. Miller to Harvey. Back over to Culliver. Culliver sends to the side where Hughes sets it up high again, and a hard spikes. Nearly got a kill from Hindlebrand, but the Griffins, Hannah Stearman, had other plans. Hard spike goes down to Green. Green sends this one up and out into the stands for a point for the Bulldogs. So 17-14. Again, Yancey getting ready to serve this one off once again. Bumped into the middle of the floor. Hard shot from Culver, dug down deep perfectly by Yancey. Yancey sends it back over to the other side, but the Griffins block it as it tried to get over there. And once again, you see Taylor Harvey go high, put her hands up to the sky and block that. Head coach Ben Brinney saying, get up high. He says, you see how tall she is. You got to make her move. And he's talking to number 20, Morgan Smith. Katie Jaycox sends this one back to the side of the Bulldogs as Smith sends it back the other way. Miller go high again. Swats that one down cleanly as she saw Lauren Wacker off balance and couldn't come away to keep that one alive for Westminster. I mean for the Bulldogs, I should say, as point goes to Westminster. Sent back over again to the middle of the floor where Hughes sets it up high. Hard spike goes down, as that's a kill from Holly Hinderbrand, the redshirt senior from St. Louis, Missouri. St. Joseph Academy is where she transferred from. As Tremont State, again, it's a good team. And we saw it in set one. Simmons tried to get a kill right there, but dug out perfectly by Yancey, who's been doing a great job, and she does right there once again. Keep it alive for the Bulldogs. Stearman dives and can't keep it in play, as she just misses that one. Stearman wanted that one badly. (19-16) the score. Hard shot from Simmons, and she'll get the kill. Tremont State last year, they went 17-15 as they lost in the first round of their conference tournament. Jasmine Brown led the team with kills and 355. Savvy Hughes, who we've seen a couple times dish out some great assists tonight, led the way with 1,169 of them a season ago. Wacker, 585 digs, and Brynmeyer sent back 153 blocks. Hughes, Wacker, Brynmeyer all returned. We see them as the only member that graduated was Jasmine Brown, who led the team in kills. So they've got to find someone to fill that void, and the Griffins know all about filling voids, losing a few of their key seniors a season ago. Timeout on the floor. We'll take a timeout with them. Griffins trail by 4 here in the RMAC Network.
Hotel RL by Red Lion, located in downtown Salt Lake City, an official lodging partner of Westminster Athletics, a great location in the heart of the city.
(21-17) here in the inside the Bacon Fieldhouse. Also, today is the first meet of cross country as they're at UVU. So the women's race was at 10 and the men was at 10:30 up there in Orem, Utah. As you'll find all the latest news and notes about all the sports for this season, go to westminstergriffins.com. Also, you can find latest stories up on DeseretNews.com as well. Serve goes back to the other side. Griffins get back-to-back points, and they're only down 2. 19-21. And just like that, Truman comes back and fires away and gets another kill. Sent to the other side for the Bulldogs. And a hard shot. Was it tipped by the Bulldogs? And it was. And you see number 11, Livingston, raise her hand and say, I got it. Good sportsmanship right there. 22-20. Griffins are playing the Bulldogs tough. You can't ask for a better second set after the way things ended in set number 1. 25-16, so the Griffins have already eclipsed 16 points. And they're looking to get set 2 victory. Truman did lose set 2 yesterday to Fort Lewis. Green gets blocked. Diving play by Culver to keep it alive, and Stearman sends it back over to the Griffins' attacking zone. Hard shot's going to bounce off Lambert, nearly hits the Spirit team. Out of bounds, point, Bulldogs. They're looking for 2 more points to close off set 2 and take a 2-0 lead over Westminster. Stearman, Harvey, Culver, blocked at the net. Harvey just hits it up, but it was so dysfunctional at times that Holly Hildebrand just find a way to find the open zone to get the 24th point. Now they're 1 point away from set point here in set 2. Timeout on the floor. We'll take a timeout with them on the RMAC Network. Tremont State 1 point away from closing off set 2 here in the Bacon Fieldhouse. Bump, set, spiked over the net. This is by also the very first time these two teams have ever played each other in volleyball action, as it's the first time we have seen Tremont State come out here to Salt Lake City, as they're no stranger to Minnesota State, as they are 3-5-1 in those meetings. Truman doesn't have much history, like we talked about, against Westminster, as they've only faced Fort Lewis once, where they beat them 3-1. That was back in 1987. So it's been a long time since those two squared off since yesterday, and Truman gets the kill right there, and they'll cap off a set 2 victory. We'll be back for set 3 live on the RMAC Network. Griffins and Bulldogs heading to 3. Tremont State with back-to-back wins.
Westminster number 8, Katie Jacobs.
Can the Griffins mount a 2-0 comeback here in set number 3? Jay Cox will send this one the other way. As we talked about earlier, Utah State was in some action today as they took on Michigan State University, as they nearly came away with the victory. 38-31 was the final score at in Michigan State for the Utah State Aggies. So, way to represent the Beehive State for the Utah State Aggies, and they nearly gave the game away. Michigan State, that is, says in the story I'm reading. But you know what's so funny and interesting? It's funny and interesting in a certain way because Utah State always plays these big schools to open up the season. And they always go on the road, and it's good for them because the conference they're in. It's going to help them out. Just like when Westminster takes on some of bigger conference opponents like Trumont State, it's good for them moving forward because you're not going to see this much talent in your conference at times. So it's good to get these warm-up games in the preseason, just like Utah State did, as they nearly came away. And it's so interesting to think about that. And they paid, think about this, Michigan State paid Utah State $1.5 million and almost lost to them. It's crazy. That's how athletics are, especially with football. Of course, the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference has football of their own going around, as we're tied 2-2 here with Audrey Green getting ready to serve this one to the other side. And she'll hit the net for a service error. As we see Audrey Green and her stats here in game number 3, as so far she leads the way with 7 points, and all 7 points come from 7 kills. As a shot, it's going to go down to the other side from Morgan Smith, who's having a good game of her own, as she adds the 9th kill on her stat line for tonight's game 1 for Trumont State. They'll be back later today when they take on Lubbock Christian, as that one's going to hit the top of the net and somehow fall right in front of the Griffins area for the 5th point, and the service ace will go to Savvy Hughes. Again, Fort Lewis, they're going to be coming up next before they head home. They'll take on the Mavericks, who play the Griffins later tonight. This one's going to go to Culver. Culver's going to smack it over to the other side, dug down by Yancey. Griffins are having a hard time up front, those front 3, and now Gibbons is trying to say, hey, listen, find where you're supposed to be on the floor. And obviously, talking to a young freshman, Katie Culver, Helena, Montana. I spent some time up there when I covered the Pioneer League. Helena, Montana was a beautiful city, as they were at the minor league baseball team to the Milwaukee Brewers. Take a quick timeout. Griffins trail 7-2. We'll be back here on the RMAC Network after this. For the first time ever, a Truman State University volleyball setter was named to their conference Great Lakes Valley as the Offensive Player of the Week in Savvy Hughes. also became the first Bulldog to receive the honor since Kayla Basseton back in 2014 on October 20th. And Truman's setter for Gamer Weekly recognized, Megan Zimmerman, back on October 22nd, 2012. So interesting kind of note there. Great job. Congratulations to Savvy Hughes. As also Ellie Cat, as a freshman, she competed in 20 matches as a middle hitter. And that was pretty cool stat that they had on their website for their press release coming out here. So Ellie Cat, you know, they wanted to get that one cool cat instead of stat. Could have been one cool cat stat. But it's still interesting as the Griffins got a kill there. As Stearman bounces this one off the hip of Morgan Smith, who couldn't control it. As again, the Griffins still fighting into this one. And after a timeout from Al Givens. Griffins have one timeout left in this set. And the Griffins got the timeout at the right time because they're heating up here.
Timeout, Truman State.
And how about this? Nationally spotlight for Truman State for the first time. They've been as high as 23 three times during the 2014 season. They start 3-1 and has gained some national attention as they receive 59 votes in the American College Coaches Association and in the top 25, which was good for 30th of all of Division II. Time on the floor. We'll take a timeout. Be back right after this. Griffins continue to fight against a good Truman State team. Stearman dives, and it won't matter. Her hustle play will be rewarded with a point. Because there'll be a ball handling error against the Bulldogs. Stearman sends this one to the other side. Bump down easily over to Savvy. Savvy sees this one set up and hit off Stearman and out of play. Kill goes to number 22, Emma Berthold, the first time we call her name. So you look up on the scoreboard at volleyball games, you know, you see 3 minutes on the clock. Just have to put some time up there always, as we're tied 8-8. Sometimes you look up there, especially calling multiple games, you know, you're looking at a scoreboard, wondering why the clock isn't running. And some people who aren't very familiar with volleyball might look up there and get confused at times too until they realize the clock doesn't run. Lamborn will get ready to serve. 8-8 score. Lamborn going all the way near the block before she comes near the free throw line where the volleyball lines connect. And that ball's going to slip out of play, and the Griffins will get the first lead of set 3. So we welcome those who are joining us, who are fans of Trumont State University. We thank you guys for stopping by and tuning in, no matter where you may be listening to us from. As the officials looked at each other, wanted to make sure they got the call right, and gave the Griffins the last 2 points. Trying to get a set 3 victory here. Again, we only had 2 3-0 finishes yesterday in the tournament, and that was the first and last game. So far, we got the third one overall, and the first one today in the first game with Fort Lewis and Lubbock Christian. And Tremont State looking for back-to-back 3-0 victories here in the Bacon Fieldhouse if they can complete the victory against your Westminster Griffins. But the Griffins have been fighting all set long. As a hard shot from Simmons goes back over to the other side to the Bulldogs. Once again, Berthold sends it back over. It's going to bounce off Lambert and out of play. As we'll see number 10, Claire Wandre, the redshirt senior from Ankeny, Iowa. Ankeny High School is where she went. Lamborn set up high, where Miller gets blocked at the net. Miller will try one more time. She's going to hit it over where no one's in the area. Despite a diving play from Wandre, Griffins will get the kill.
Serving for Westminster, number 4, Jaylee Lindbauer.
Jaylee Lindbauer serves this one for Westminster. Over to the Bulldog side. Green spikes it. Was it in? Yes, it was. That was another close call. Griffins with the call in their favor, though. Green with the kill. Again, Tremont State, they enter 6-1 now after their victories yesterday. They knocked off the number 4 ranked team in Florida Southern 3-1 back on August 24th. Also, they took on Central Michigan ranked 22nd as they fell 1-3 in those contests. 3 out of the 4 games in the tournament they played in a week ago at the Peggy Martin Challenge were in the top 25 as they took on Arkansas Tech and beat them, who was ranked 14th, in a 3-0 set victory. So they had a good time in the Peggy Martin Challenge with that one loss before coming here to Westminster, and they're currently 3-0, as it says. They've got the victory so far on the website, which is incorrect. As we'll get that fixed here in a little bit. It's just interesting how they have the stat like that up there, so we do apologize for looking at the box scores online. Goes over to Lamborn. Lamborn's going to see this one hit the back of the bench for another point for the visitors Bulldogs. As 13-12 in favor of Westminster. As Megan Gasper sends this one to the other side. Lauren Bauer gets it over to Cox. Green goes high to the sky, hits it out of play, and we're tied 13-13. Men's and women's soccer play today as well. So make sure you keep your eye out for those stories. Hard shot goes over the net from Simmons. Simmons trying to get another kill, but she can't. This one's going to be tapped off the hands of Simmons, but it hit the antenna first, so point goes to Westminster.
Now serving number 16, Sydney Simmons.
And again, cross-country men's and women's are out there at the UVU Invitational. Also, so many sports going on around the world in college athletics today, as obviously college football has begun this week. Here just a couple miles down from us, the University of Utah had their home opener at Rice-Sickle Stadium, where we can always see from Dumpke Field when we're on it, as Truman sends it back over the Griffin side. Hard shot's going to bounce around. Tapped around, back to Harvey, over to Stearman. Stearman to Green. Green hits it back over the side. Diving, can't keep the play alive, was Lauren Wacker. Point goes to Westminster, 15-14. As we're trying to get an update for our cross-country team for you guys, get you an updated schedule. We won't know until later today. And also you can go to westminstergriffins.com for all the latest news and notes regarding all the sports with the upcoming games for Westminster. Again, they'll be taking on the Mavericks of MSU, Minnesota State University, tonight in Mankato. We're tied 15-15 after that error by Westminster. This one's Stearman, the libero today. Hard spike's going to go back to Harvey. Harvey goes up, blocks it for a minute, but she has to get it right back in her own zone. Green goes up, hits it hard. That was dug out deep perfectly by Yancey. Yancey gets it back to the Griffin side. Over to Culver. Culver hits it, and she finds the back end and just couldn't come away to keep that alive for Truman State. As they dove, and the Griffins are on top, 16-15. And you can see some exhaustion right now from Truman State here against the Westminster Griffins. Griffins actually look pretty well rested after a 5-set day and a 3-set day. They had to play in the first day of the Westminster Invitational. Savvy Hughes sends it over to Ellie Katz. Culver taps it over to the other side. Cat goes up high again, spikes it hard off Green and out of play. Kill goes to Cat. Ellie Cat, the sophomore from Cedar Grove, Wisconsin, will get the kill. Savvy Hughes sends it over to Stearman. Hard spike's going to go over to the Bulldog side. Cat goes up again, gets blocked at the net by Taylor Harvey. And the Griffins are back on top, 17-16. Stearman sends this one perfectly to the Bulldogs side, where Cat goes up and gets blocked once again, but this time the Bulldogs were able to get it back to the Griffins side despite being blocked. Miller sends it over to the Bulldogs area. Hard spike goes down to Stearman, who sends it up high, where Jay Cox has to send it over to Miller. Miller sends it over, diving play by Cat. Sent over cleanly where Stearman has to come get it. Great play by Morgan Smith. Stearman sends it back to the back end to the libero of Wacker. Green to Miller. Too many hits. A penalty goes against Westminster. Point to the Bulldogs. We're tied once more, 17-17. Sent over to the other side from Renault, who again has that protective mask, who hits the net for an error. Lamborn looking to get the lead up 2 here for the Westminster Griffins. And a kill from Lamborn, the service ace. She gets it perfectly.
Amber Lamborn.
(19-17) now. The Griffins on top, their largest lead of set 3. Savvy. Yancey sends it over to Green. Great kill, perfectly executed by Sydney Simmons. And the Griffins are now up 3. There may be no sweep today in Game 2 in Salt Lake City. Griffins looking to get the first set victory of Division II history for the program of the Westminster volleyball team. They're 5 points away from doing that, leading 20-17. Lambourne with the serve. Head coach Ben Brittany was not happy with the way his team performed. That one's going to bounce out of play off a block by Westminster for this 18th point for the Bulldogs. And the Bulldogs are looking to mount a mini comeback here and just get this game tied. Sending it over is Wadre. Hard shot from Miller, gets it over to the Bulldog side. Tap to Lambourne. Simmons finds a way to knock it off that protective mask of Renault, and she is in pain. Griffins get the kill. And she looked, she was in some pain for a moment, but she shook it off after that ball hit her right where the mask is at. That couldn't have felt good. Jaylee Landenbauer sends it over the other side. Hard spike's going to be killed perfectly by Holly Hindenbrand, who keeps this a 2-point game in favor of Westminster. The Griffins, they want this bad. They don't want to fall in 3 sets in back-to-back games. Megan Gasper with the serve over to Lambourne to start things off. Green sends it over with speed, set up high by Hughes. Bounced around to the Griffin side until it's finally knocked over to the Bulldogs end. Hard spike blocked by Green, but out of play, and now it's a 1-point lead for Westminster. Timeout, the final timeout for the Griffins for Al Givens. We'll be back after this. Griffins up 21-20. Looking to cap off the set victory. Here comes the play. Over to Lambourne. Lambourne gets it around. Stay on the Bulldog side, though. Down low goes Stearman. Hard shot from Green. Back to the Bulldogs' end. Set up high. Green spikes it to the other side. And it was going back and forth here still. This time it's Simmons who will get the kill. Sydney Simmons adds another one. As it's 22-20. Griffins smell something brewing. It doesn't mean it is what it is, though, when you smell it right now, how close it is. Tremont State trying to get this game back in control, and so far it's not going their way. 23-20. Al Givens wants this one bad. Simmons serves. Hits the net, 23-21. Oh, Tremont State looking to try to find a way to get 2 more points to even this up at 23-23. You got to take it 1 point at a time. Yancey sends it over. Back over to the Griffins side. Hard shot blocked up front. That's going to be a block from Hildenbrand, and that's going to make the lead a 1 point lead for West Mini. Al Givens and head coach Ben Brindley. Coaching battle right here. First time ever these two teams meet in both schools' history. How will the first match go? And now we're tied 23-23. Griffins already trail by 2 sets. Yancey's doing a good job serving. And remember, the only way to win now is you have to win 25-23 because you have to win by 2. If it's 25-24, we keep playing. The Griffins played a couple times. They did that yesterday against Fort Lewis. And that one bounced off the Griffins' hands. And out of play, and now we got set point, match point. Sam Yancey can close it off as the Griffins had this one in their palms. 23-20, 5 straight points. Almost were rolled off, but Audrey Green says not so fast, not in our house, in the Bacon Field house. Tied 24-24.
Westminster server number 8, Katie Jacobs.
Jaycock sends it over to the Bulldogs side. Hard spike, blocked from Taylor Harvey, and now the Griffins have set point here in set 3. Will we be heading to set 4? Jay Cox on the serve. Bumped up high. Hard spike from Cat to the other side. Griffins keep it alive. Green for the potential kill, won't get it. Hard shot in play just behind Stearman. We're tied 25-25. Oh, great effort right there by Westminster. Audrey Green had a good opportunity. Give credit to Trumont State. That's another point for Westminster. This time it's a kill from Katie Culver. The freshman comes up big. Fans on their feet again for the set point. The Griffins were in this same position yesterday 3 times against Fort Lewis. They couldn't close it off. Audrey Green looking to close it off right here, right now. As she sends it over to the Bulldogs side, they send it right back. Tap from Cat, point, and once again we're tied. How many chances do you want to give Truman State if you're Westminster? And Trumont State, how many opportunities can you trust Westminster with in this position? Will this be the one too many times that the Griffins will close it off right here? Fans, good crowd in the stands today. On their feet, 27-26. Looking for the first set victory in Division II history. And there it is, history made. First set victory in D2. Griffins get it, and now we'll be heading to set 4 here on the RMAC Network. We'll be right back after this. Griffins 28, Bulldogs 26.
Truman State, number 9, Lauren Wacker.
Lauren Wacker will start things off here in set 4. The Griffins found a way to rally back and knock off Truman State, as that one's going to stay out of play for the first point for Westminster. Interesting how the Griffins found a way to fight back and win that one. But you got to give Al Givens and his staff a lot of credit, as they don't give up. As that one's going to be back-to-back service aces for both teams. Truman State in purple, Griffins in white, if you're wondering. Griffins and Truman State have very similar colors, though. I mean, it's almost like practicing against one another with both liberos in white and purple on each side. It's interesting. Stearman hustled to get that one, couldn't keep it alive for Westminster, though, as they trail 2-1. That one's going to bounce, and Stearman dives once again. She hit the floor pretty hard there. 3-1 is the score. That's Miller going up high for the Griffins near the net, as that's a huge shot going down towards the Griffins side to keep it alive. Cat sends it over to Stearman. Miller spikes it hard off the hands of Hughes. Sent back over with ease was Brynmeyer. Hard spike's going to bounce off not one but two different Bulldogs, and out of play for a point for Westminster.
Serving for Westminster, number 2, Hannah Stearman.
Set up high, pushed over to the other side, where Audrey Green says, where did it go? Then wait a minute, I got it. Down to Green. Over to Miller, who finds the end for a kill. Westminster will get the point. Bumped, set, and spiked over to the other side off the top of the net and out of play for the Griffins due to they did not touch it. Bumped around onto the Bulldog side. Set up high for the Griffins. That's going to bounce off. Cat for a kill for the Bulldogs. Take a timeout here. We'll be back live on the RMAC Network after this. Hannah Stearman will serve things off for the Westminster Griffins as they lead 6-3 here in set 4. The Bulldogs find a way to nearly get it over the net. Instead, it hits the front of the net and bounces back for a point for the Westminster Griffins. Stearman still on the serve. Bumped off the shoulder and out of play. Out of bounds, that is. Off the Bulldogs, point Griffins. The serve is out to the other side in the Bulldogs' defensive zone. Hard shot from the Bulldogs, out of bounds, point Westminster. That serve will go out of bounds. It'll be a service error against Hannah Stearman. Point for the Bulldogs, who are trying to find their way back in set 4. The Griffins have their largest lead of this match. Audrey Green thought that one might have sailed out of bounds. It didn't. Hit the back near the line. And that'll be a service ace for Ellie Cat. Miller goes up, and she gets blocked, but it was blocked down on their own side for the Bulldogs. Point for the Griffins, kill to Miller. Amber Lamborn on the serve for Westminster. And a 5-point lead. That was a great shot. Hit the shoulder of Green, out of bounds. Point to the Bulldogs. Bulldogs back on the serve. Sending it over is Wadre to the Griffins side. Little tip over. Couldn't connect for the Griffins. Audrey Green hits the top of the net. Dug down deeply by the Bulldogs. Simmons is blocked at the net. Point Bulldogs. Timeout on the floor. Griffins up by 2, leading 10-8. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back inside the Bacon Fieldhouse, live here on the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference Network here in Salt Lake City, Utah at the Westminster Invitational. As we are here in day 2, the Griffins are 1-1 in the 2-day tournament thus far. As for Truman State, undefeated, top team in the tournament, looking to go 3-0, but they're trailing by 1 against the Westminster Griffins right now. Here in set 4, had a couple opportunities to possibly win set 3, couldn't close it out. Instead, Truman State will play 4 sets once again for the second time in 3 games when they took on Fort Lewis yesterday. As we're tied 10-10. Miller is going to see this one off the hands, as you see Livingston saying, I put my hands to the side and not up, as it bounced off her hands and out of bounds for a point for Westminster. Bumped over to the Bulldog zone. That one's going to be dug out by Stearman. Simmons captures it over to Green. Green sees this one dug out cleanly, and then she comes away and taps over the net perfectly with ease for another kill. 12-10. 2 more points for Westminster on the board. Green sees this one blocked up front, back to the back end of the court. Hard shot goes back to the Griffin side. Simmons gets blocked for a moment, but the Bulldogs maintain it. That's going to be a point to the Bulldogs, as Savvy Hughes gets the assist on the play. Audrey Green leads for both teams with 11 kills so far. Holly Hildebrand's got 10 of her own. Lydia Miller with 9 for the Griffins, alongside with Morgan Smith for the Bulldogs with 9. So we got a good battle here in the Bacon Fieldhouse, as we're even again at 12-12. If this game goes to set 5, remember, they played a 15 in 5 sets, as Audrey Green hits out of bounds with nobody in sight, with just a little bit too much power on that one. Good block up front by the Griffins. Dug out perfectly by Westminster. Great block by the Bulldogs, but somehow it goes back on their side. Did Audrey Green get the kill? She does. Look at that enthusiasm she shows after that one. As the Griffins will serve it away, tied again. That one goes off Westminster for a kill for Truman State. Back-to-back points for the visitors, and the Griffins trail by 2. Sam Yacy had an opportunity to win it for the Bulldogs. Couldn't close it out, and Griffins capitalized on it. That's a nice little tap with the left hand from Ellie Cat. And that'll be a point for the Bulldogs. Timeout on the floor. We'll be right back after this live on the Armback Network. Griffins trail by 3 in set 4. Bulldogs serve this one over to the Griffins side, leading by 3 here in Salt Lake City. As a kill from Taylor Harvey after the timeout will cut the lead down to 2. Bulldogs maintain control, and they will lose control with that one going out of play off an error. As the Griffins tack on another point. As that will be a service error against Westminster. Hard shot from Harvey. She'll get the kill right there for Westminster to cut the lead down to 1. Also, if you're kind of wondering, you know, when we're on the broadcast here, an ace is a serve which lands in the opponent's court without being touched, but unable to be kept in play by one or more receiving team players. So we've seen a couple aces so far in this Westminster tournament. As you've also heard me say the word dig a few times as well. As there's a dig right there from Hannah Stearman. And that's going to fall. The Griffins will even it back up. A dig is a player passes the ball, which has been attacked by the opposition. Dig's going to be given when players receive the attack ball and kept it in play. A ball that has been touched or blocked and then played by the defense is a dig. So great job by Stearman. Hard shot goes to Green. We could be seeing another 5-set match here in Salt Lake City with the Westminster Griffins in their second game of the day. Stearman couldn't dig that one out this time. Kill from the Bulldogs. Hughes on the serve. And that was one of the most easiest kills they'll probably get from Livingston. It was just handed to her. Point. Kill. Livingston. Hughes sees this one bounce off the head and hands of Stearman and out of play. Al Givens does not have any timeouts left. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong. From the stats I have here, it says he doesn't, but we'll see if I'm proven wrong here in the Bacon Fieldhouse. Culver gets blocked and out of play though. Point Griffins, that was a block by number 18, Natalie Brimmeyer. Set up high to the sky. Little tap over the net from Simmons. Can't keep it alive as Audrey Green. And the Griffins are slowly losing momentum here. A couple easy taps and touches over the net for the Bulldogs have extended this lead to 4 for the visitors from Missouri. And that's going to be a great kill for Westminster right there. Again, the schedule for remaining after this one, Fort Lewis takes on MSU Mankato. That's scheduled for a 2:30 first serve. But depending on how this game finishes, it could be pushed back. Also, we'll be back 5 o'clock for Truman State and Lubbock Christian. And then the Griffins will finish it off tonight against Minnesota State at 7 o'clock Mountain Time. All games are scheduled to be moved if needs to be. Our director of sports almost got hit over there with the volleyball. Had to do his best to get out of the way of the scorers table. As we'll get set and match point for number 10. Claire One-Break. Dug deep. That one's going to hit the front of the net, and Griffins will get a point. So the Griffins trying to mount a comeback of their own right here. And that's how we end it. Trumont State will get the victory in Salt Lake City. Match goes to Trumont. Trumont continues their winning ways in Salt Lake City as they knock off the Griffins 25-20 in set 4 to capture the match here at the Westminster Invitational. We're going to step away for a while. We're going to be back here at 7 o'clock for the Griffins' final game of the night against Minnesota State University. We'll see you guys all then here back at 7, but stay tuned and stay locked here in the RMAC Network for the upcoming game of Fort Lewis and MSU Mancope. We'll be back later tonight at 7. We'll see you guys then.